I figured there's no reason not to record this. Just to tell you a little bit about the past beforehand, before we talk about the body. When I was younger, I was really into fitness. Ever since I was a little kid, I could climb up ropes and Boy Scouts with just my arms. I didn't have to use my legs too. Other kids are like struggling to get up there using their like arms and legs, and their parents behind them pushing them up and stuff. And I could just like with my arms boop, 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 and get right up. So always was a strong kid. I was also very skinny and light, right? I was a chunky monkey having some trouble getting up those ropes, needing a parent to push me up. I was like super light and could stand on an empty Coca-Cola can with one foot and balance myself, and it wouldn't break. Okay, so I was really, really skinny back then. And then I got into working out at 13 years old because my brother always called me a short shrimp, and I didn't like that. And then at one point, when I started getting belly, he poked me in the stomach and said, "Oh, you're a chubby shrimp." And I was like, "No, no, no, I'm not going to be a chubby shrimp. Maybe I'm going to be short. Well, I'm not going to be chubby and short." So then I started exercising. I joined the football team, started lifting weights, and started really quickly like being able to push a lot of weight. Even people that weighed a lot more than me, I was able to push maybe just as much as them or a little bit less. So it was like everyone's like, "Whoa, how are you doing that?" So it was a big deal. So I wanted to get more into lifting because I was excited. I felt good about it, and kept doing it until eventually I got a surgery on my shoulder, which was like right before I started university. So then when I started university, I couldn't really work out as hard as I wanted. My memory's failing me. It could have been after the first year of university, because in my mind I still remember like being able to exercise a lot. I think it was right before I started because I remember like not being able to do some of the activities that first year of college because I had this shoulder surgery and I didn't want to re-injure it. So I remember that, and it held me back from working out. And the doctor told me, if you lift heavy again, you might not be able to move your arms one day. So just never lift heavy again. I was like, what? Never lift heavy again? That was kind of scary. So for years I didn't. And so people knew me as, big in high school, the people that knew me in high school. And then afterwards, they just like didn't see me improving anymore. And, that was like, "Oh, I thought you'd be bigger." Or like, "Oh, you're not bigger." Like, I got that all the time. And I was like, it sucked to hear. And then I still kept working out. I just wasn't like getting bigger. I was pretty ripped. And then eventually, fast forward, sometimes when you have like a girlfriend or you're in a relationship, you kind of match the other person's ways. And so, I dated somebody who would come home and they'd say, "Hey, do you want a beer?" Like right when they walked in, they'd offer me a beer when I was already in. And I was like, "Heck yeah." And they'd bring me a beer and we'd hang out. And then she worked at a brewery, so I'd go over there and hang out and drink beers. And then I tried to get up early, but she stayed in late, and she's like, "Why you got to get up early?" And so that was hard to get out of bed. Anyway, it's still my fault, right? She didn't force me to drink beer. She didn't force me to stay in bed. Definitely my fault. But that's when I started becoming a chunky monkey because I was like, wow, life is pretty good. You can eat pork rinds and drink beer and, just eat whatever you want and you don't have to work out. And then I was like, okay, it makes sense why I see all these people get into relationships and then blow up. I'm just going to say that. It's just like all of a sudden, the next time you see them, it's like, whoa, is that a pillow in your shirt? That's really what it looks like because you're just not used to seeing somebody like that. And like if you're somebody who like gained a lot of weight, yeah, people think that. Like, sorry, like they're thinking it. They're just not gonna say it. I didn't say it. I'm polite. Like like I'm just like it's initial reaction, right? I have had a friend. She got implants, and I remember seeing her again. She was always really really thin, and I saw her again. I was just like, it was odd, but I was still in university, so like I could speak up about those things, right? I'm just like this young boy, like, oh no 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 no, and and I remember like seeing that, and I was like, "Oh, hi, you look great," and blah blah. And we were in the conversation, like a little bit in there. I was like, You like, is there anything different? Like like I don't want to say it, but like you're, am I just not remembering like you?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like trying to like motion, like do like a motion, but I don't remember exactly how I did it. And she's like, "Oh, you didn't know? Like I got implants." I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, they look good," and then to continue the conversation, right? Like I didn't want to be too awkward or like she's always a friend. I never wanted to hit on her too hard. I didn't want her to think I was doing, but like. Girls tell other girls like, "Wow, you look great," or like blah blah, or like a girl sees a girl in the gym and like, "Wow, your butt looks so great today." You don't see any guy like, "Hey, bro, your butt looks great." Whoopsh. Like actually, that maybe on baseball teams or like soccer teams or something. But anyway, I don't see girls slapping each other's butts in the gym either. That's not the point. What I'm saying is, girls can compliment other girls really easily. A guy doesn't really do that to other guys. And so, a guy didn't really do that to a girl that much either, right? Like you can have some flamboyant gay guys like, oh, girl, you look so damn good today. Like, shit, look at that boob, that was looking good. You got that cleavage going on today. But you don't see some straight guy walking up to a girl that's like his friend, like, wow, your cleavage looks really good today. Like, no, that's weird, right? Like, so anyway, when I was trying to compliment her, and also like try to think about my memory if it served me right. I was trying to, understand that and try to do it in a polite way. So that was a long ramble to say when someone has gained weight in their belly, not in their boobs, then you just don't really say anything about it. You're not like something's different. Is your like, is your like you're like like blah 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 blah. No, so you don't do that. So you just like take a shock in and then go. And so I think people had that about me for a little while because I started getting bigger. For the first time in my life, I was the fattest I ever was. And I didn't really like it. My mind wasn't getting in a good place either. I think when you have more weight on your body, it shows where your mindset is at partly because there's some people like happy Buddha, that's the fat Buddha is just really happy, like that's great. And then if you see like a little chunky kid who's just like, oh my god, candy, and it's like the happy all the time, like they're just that happy-go-lucky like chunky kid, like please like live your best life, like whatever you need to do. But there are a lot of people that eat whenever they're sad, so it can be a reflection of their mindset. Like if they're really not in a good place, they want to be better, they want to be in a better place, but they can't really, and they just like seclude themselves, eat food. I'm not going to get into this whole picture, but like sometimes it can be that kind of mindset thing. Sometimes people don't want to be eating all that. They don't want their body to look like this, and they're having difficulty losing the weight or getting off. Okay, and so that was me at this time. Like I was just gaining weight. I didn't like it. I was like confused. I was like, all this stuff I've worked out all my years and I'm not doing it. And I was still getting up in the mornings or trying to exercise, but not doing this consistently. And I just couldn't keep the weight off. Okay. And then right when I started traveling, right, a lot of people when they travel, they actually gain weight, right? People want to eat the food from everywhere. And so since I've been traveling, I'm actually way more fit than when I started traveling. And I've been traveling now for, I don't know, over 2 years, maybe 2.5 or something like that. So, okay, I'll tell you like how it started for me because I've told some other people this. I haven't just said it on camera, but I started traveling with a group of people. And the first month we went to Peru, and that was fine. I studied Spanish. I ran the company because I have a marketing company. So ran the company and did some extracurricular activities and like hung out with the group that first month in Peru. And the second month we went to Colombia. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to get the exercise into gear. They like listed out a couple gyms to go to. And so I walked into one of the gyms they said just to go look at it for a moment and just to see if I wanted to. And then I walked in the gym, took a look at it. And while I was in there, the owner came up to me, or maybe he's the manager, and he's like, show me around. I was like, well, I might have something with this group. I just wanted to come in and check it out real quick. He's like, sure, man, just walk in. He's like, after he showed me, he's like, we have a class going on right now. Do you want to join the class? I looked around at the class. It's like 5 gorgeous Colombian women and like one really fit male trainer. And I was like, I would learn from a male trainer like that. And also like, yeah, I'll be in a group of these hot Colombian women, sure. And so that was the start of my fitness journey. Like that restarted it, reignited it. Just being around those like hot Colombian women who are like, wow, you're doing so good. You're so strong. And I'm like, well, yeah, thank you. I knew I was strong. I've been strong since I was like 14 years old or something like that. And I'm like, wow, you're so strong. And I'm like, you're the strong one. And like, anyway, so it was really good camaraderie. And I was also studying Spanish there in Colombia, and I was able to practice it with the women that were in that group, and then they were helping push me. So days we were down, it was just great. It was a great community, right? Like that's why people go to like F45 or join CrossFit for that sense of community. Well, my community was 5 hot Colombian women and a really like fit male instructor who I think did some like physique competitions and stuff too. So like the perfect person to learn from. And every time I was finished my workout, I was covered in sweat. And he's like, when's the like, have you ever worked out this hard? And I was like, no, not since I was like 14 years old on a American football team in the United States. And yeah, so anyway, that kick-started my journey. I didn't want to lose my cardio ability, so I kept it up. One of the guys in this group I was traveling with, He's a personal trainer in England, and I would consider him a world class personal trainer. He trains trainers, like, really good trainers come to him to get training from him because he's such a good trainer, right? Tells you when someone's a good trainer. So, I was his buddy, and we'd go to the gym together on occasion, right? He could have his own workouts, I'd do mine, but just having a few with him, I was like, whoa, he is a really good trainer. Like, I can really tell. I have worked out with a lot of people, and I've worked out with some trainers, but it just blew my mind. Best trainer I've ever worked out with, for sure. And he's just my buddy, so we get to work out with him. But that's a whole mindset thing to get wrapped around, right? Like, that really helps you when you get your mindset wrapped around it. If someone's just telling you what to do and you're just trying to follow X, Y, and Z, it kind of gets boring. But if you're trying to wrap your mind around how someone else thinks, especially when they're a fitness professional, whoa, that can change everything. So with my buddy, started working out with him, and then we became really close friends. And then he has like these fitness events around the world, in Thailand and Portugal, and I'll go to some of the events because he's also got some in like France, or that I just don't go to because I'm living in Asia now. But just going to those really, really affects my mindset because they push me past the point of what I thought was possible. It's really like it pushing you to a point where either you're going to break or you're going to grow, like far past the point where you thought was possible. And so I've hit those points where it's like far past this point that I thought was possible. And there's other guys in the group that provide me some inspiration as well. There's this one guy that I'm thinking about, super, super fit. And he's like, made a drastic change in his body. And he's really muscular. And, I haven't really put on muscle size in a long time, but I haven't tried to like bulk. I've joked about bulking season, right? A lot of lifters joke about bulking season because in bulking season, you just eat whatever you want, or you just eat a lot of food. And I've done bulking seasons before, but I figured this year I was going to do a bulking year because the reason why I thought that is in Vietnam, there's so much food with like high carbs and protein, and it's so cheap, right? I can get a big bowl of rice and meat and vegetables, like, healthy stuff. And I can get all of that for like $1.50 or maybe, $1.25. So I'm like, I can eat a ton of food and hopefully put on some size. So I figured that this year. And when the year started, I went back to the United States, had to go handle some family things, not like super exciting stuff, but needed to do that. For 2 months I was in the States. I wasn't like doing cardio. It was like kind of hard to find a gym, but I was finding out how to go to gyms, like hanging out with a buddy and paying a day pass here or there. And, America always wants you on contract, so it was a little bit more difficult. And then so anyway, I did 2 months in the States, wasn't really doing any cardio, but still eating a lot. And when I came back here, still been eating a lot. Today was the first day I did cardio again. Woke up at 7, went for a run, and I'm like, good. Now I'm going to get back in that routine. I've still been lifting weights, but I haven't been doing cardio. And so this is what it looks like. This is the whole reason why I took this video. This is what it looks like for me to like keep eating a lot and not doing cardio. I think my belly is big right now. Like when I sit down, I can feel my belly like crunch up. I'm just like, and I like grab it, squeeze it. I'm just like, I don't like it. So I don't want to keep it. Because of that, that means I got to do something about this. But I'm still thinking it's like bulking year for me because I really do want to put on size on my arms. Like I think my arms are looking bigger. I can see more of my muscles coming in. I can see it through this fat that I've put on. So that's like a good sign. Because if I can do this whole year of trying to bulk up, and then at the end of it, or next year try to trim down, maybe I'll have a lot more muscle put on. And it's just like a test for me. But at the same time, I don't want my belly to get too big. And the guy that inspired me, this guy Dom, who was on the trip, he like does a lot of cardio. He was the like most muscular guy there, and he's also like really, really good in his athletic ability, like in his cardiovascular. Because we ran up a mountain, and he was like running laps around us. And so he's like, I run all the time. So in my mind, it's like, okay, well, bulking season, you want a lot of calories to put on muscle, but you also don't want so many excess calories that you look fat. And so if you run, you burn some of those excess calories off. So today I went for a run. I'm going to go to the gym in a little bit. And then I think I'm going to start getting into that routine of getting up and going for a run, or whenever I feel like it, going for a run. I'm pretty pale right now. There's a ton of sun in this beach town that I'm at, but it's great to go run next to the beach. I might get more tan. I might stay pale because like the Vietnamese love to stay pale. Who knows? I'm going to cover up. I'm not going to do that. Just be real with myself. I'm going to run topless. one of the reasons why I love running topless is like right now, for example, when I feel my belly is bigger, I feel like it's jiggling, so I don't like that. And because I don't like that, I want to lose the belly, right? I want to look good to be without a shirt on in public. Uh, for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was made fun of for having small calves for a little while, and he hated that. This is back in his early days of bodybuilding. So he cut off the bottom, like snipped off the bottom of all of his uh, like sweatpants so that his calves always showed, so he could always see his calves. And because he did that, he was seeing his calves every day, so he wanted to keep working them out and improving them. And I think like, I've been pretty strong throughout my youth, but some of my things like my chest isn't to the size that I would like it to be, right? I'm thinking about the bodybuilding kind of stuff rather than CrossFit or functional fitness, but I like bodybuilding. My chest isn't to where I want it to be, but I've always had a pretty strong chest. Even like got on this leaderboard in Portugal at a powerlifter's gym for my weight class, and it was like the first time I was really trying to bench a really heavy weight in like years and years and years. But I've always been pretty strong in my chest, but my chest doesn't really look that great. That's why a power lifter and a bodybuilder can look totally different. bodybuilder, a bodybuilder can look like he can push thousands of pounds, right? But maybe he's not as strong as a power lifter who doesn't look as muscular as him, but can push way more weight because a power lifter's body is just built different. I'm built different. So I'm not really into needing to push a lot of weight. I just want my body to change. And the reason I'm saying this, in Vietnam, you could, boom, take your shirt off in the gym, which is a huge deal. And now that I take my shirt off, I'm like, whoa, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. And so, as I've been living in Vietnam, pretty much over the last year, I've been really working on like different muscles and trying to build those muscles up. Rather than in America, I always had a shirt on, so I couldn't really see exactly what needed to work. And so I'm really happy about seeing what needs work. And so this year, I'm going to continue, eat a lot of food. I'm going to go for runs so that hopefully I can get a little bit leaner, at least have some abs in, and then I can see which pieces I want to work on more. So I am 33 years old, and I'm feeling like my mind is finally wrapping more around this bodybuilding stuff. It'd been cool if I was younger and got my mind wrapped around it or whatever, but it doesn't matter. The whole path you took has got you up to now. And now I can see the path that I want, and I can see the body improvements that I want. And I can see I've been making a lot of improvements over the last couple years of traveling, and then also in the last year of understanding which muscles I want to improve. So that's the path I'm going to keep going. And I wanted to film this so I can get a sense in the future of what it'll look like now. This is April 2024. And then and then you can also get a sense if you're watching this of, the improvements that you could potentially make, maybe a little bit of the mindset stuff that, I went through and you could take from that. And if you're on a journey to improve yourself, or if you like fitness, I'd love to talk about it. My life is mainly fitness, running a company, living in other countries or traveling, and then talking about mindset. I absolutely love mindset. A lot of people would consider it lifestyle design, which I think is totally fine. I want to live the life I want to live. And if I'm not happy with something, I improve it. That's simple, right? I don't want to complain about it. I don't want to vent about it. I want to improve it. And so if you like chatting about any of those things, that's what I chat about on this channel. So feel free to subscribe if those are the things that you like. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to chat or hang out or whatever. And I'll see you again next time. Peace.